Hello everyone, and welcome back. Jungkook and Taehyung have done something today that left the entire world in tears. Before we dive into this storm of emotions, make sure you subscribe and tap the notification bell, because what we're about to uncover isn't just another piece of K-pop news, it's a story about humanity, vulnerability, and the kind of connection that transcends music. To truly understand the weight of today's moment, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture. Jungkook, often referred to as the Golden Magne, carries with him an aura of limitless talent and quiet strength. Taehyung, on the other hand, is known for his poetic soul, his mysterious charm, and a depth that seems to run beyond words. Together, the two have always shared a bond that fans describe as almost magnetic, an invisible thread that ties them together in ways that go beyond performance. Social psychologists have a term for this: emotional contagion. It's when one person's emotions ripple outward and directly affect those around them. And when you're dealing with two of the most watched, most beloved artists in the world, those ripples become tidal waves. What Jungkook and Taehyung feel, the world feels. What they reveal, even if unintentionally, becomes monumental. Today, in Paris, under a soft drizzle that turned the city into something out of a film, something extraordinary happened. Taehyung, usually calm and composed, shared a message. At first glance, it seemed small, almost unremarkable, meant only for a select few. But in the way of modern life, privacy is fragile, and the message slipped into the open. What followed wasn't just a leak of words. It was a confession, a glimpse into a deeply personal space, and suddenly the entire world was paying attention. When Jungkook heard what Taehyung had said, his reaction wasn't anger. It wasn't frustration. It wasn't even confusion. Instead, it was raw. It was human. And it was so real that the footage alone has silenced fans across the globe. This wasn't a stage performance. This wasn't a carefully planned moment meant to tug at heartstrings. It was life, unscripted and unguarded, unfolding in real time. Jungkook's reaction, a tremor in his smile, a pause heavy enough to break the air, a catch in his voice, was a reminder that even the strongest can bend under the weight of emotion. Even the bravest, who seem unshakable under blinding stage lights, can find themselves trembling in a quiet corner of reality. And when he did, millions of people trembled with him. The world reacted instantly. Twitter timelines, TikTok feeds, and Instagram stories exploded in waves of empathy. Fans didn't just post admiration, they shared their tears, their memories, their own vulnerabilities. What Jungkook and Taehyung showed the world wasn't weakness. It was proof of their humanity. And in that proof, they reflected something universal. That's the true power of BTS. They've never been just a band. They are mirrors. Mirrors reflecting the spectrum of human experience, joy, heartbreak, hope, and the truths we rarely speak out loud. And today, their mirror showed us something we weren't expecting: fragility. Picture yourself there, in Paris, with the city buzzing around you. People walk by, unaware that a fleeting exchange between two young men will soon ripple across the world. Jungkook, in that moment, reaches out, not dramatically, not with the flourish of a performance, but with a subtle gesture of comfort. Taehyung, usually the one cloaked in quiet calm, allows himself to be unmasked for a heartbeat. It's fleeting, but somehow eternal. Psychologists call this catharsis, the release of pent-up emotions through powerful experiences. History is filled with such moments. Soldiers reuniting after years of war. Families embracing after separation. Performances that break the barrier between stage and soul. And now, Jungkook and Taehyung have written their own chapter into this legacy, not with grand speeches or polished choreography, but with truth. Fans who have followed them for years know this isn't the first time they've shown vulnerability. But today felt different. There was urgency in the air. Clarity in the silence. A piercing honesty that demanded attention. It was as if the universe had paused, just for a second, to remind us that even the brightest stars are still human beings. And maybe that's why tears fell, not just for them, but with them. Of course, the question still lingers: what exactly did Taehyung's message contain? What was it that moved Jungkook so deeply? We may never have the complete answer. But what we do know is that what unfolded wasn't about words on a screen, it was about connection. It was about seeing someone else's heart exposed and recognizing your own in it. Here's the haunting part. In a world obsessed with perfection, where every smile is rehearsed and every move choreographed, Jungkook and Taehyung allowed themselves to be imperfect. They let themselves be real. And in doing so, they reminded us that crying isn't a weakness. Vulnerability isn't shameful. Sometimes the most powerful truths are the ones we never intend to share. Step into Jungkook's shoes for a moment. Imagine the exhaustion of constant tours, endless fan events, the weight of being seen as flawless. Then, imagine receiving words from someone you deeply care about, not through headlines or gossip, but through the quiet intimacy of a message. Suddenly, you realize they're carrying a burden. And in that instant, their burden becomes yours. That was Jungkook's moment. A sharp intake of breath. A silence so long it stretched time. And then, tears. What he felt wasn't just sadness, it was empathy. Neuroscientists say that when we see someone else in pain, the same areas of our brain activate as if we were suffering ourselves. That's why millions of fans cried with him. They weren't just observers, they were participants. As the clips circulate, as conversations keep unfolding online, one truth remains. Jungkook and Taehyung did something extraordinary. They reminded us that being human isn't about fame, or accolades, or keeping everything polished. It's about connection, empathy, and the courage to be vulnerable. In that quiet Parisian moment, they didn't just make the world cry. They made the world feel alive. So as you reflect on what happened, think about your own life. Who are the people that make you pause? Who reminds you that it's okay to feel deeply, to be vulnerable, to cry? That's the mirror Jungkook and Taehyung held up for us today. Not just a moment between idols, but a reminder of what it means to be human. And maybe that is the real magic of BTS. They don't just perform music. They perform life itself. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for more stories that move, inspire, and sometimes make the entire world cry.